has to do with destiny. And if a task has to do with destiny, then God has to be involved. And if God has to be involved, God has to be called upon. So he got to a place very close to Nahor. Before the gate, there was a well there. He turned to the God of his master Abraham and prayed a prayer. Here I am, O God of my master Abraham. I am in this place, and the daughters of men are going to begin to come. It is evening time. They are coming to fetch water. I have no idea whom you have in plan that will be an heir apparent, a queen, someone who will be married to my master's son in order to fulfill destiny. I don't know who, but you know. But I'm asking you, oh God, let it be that as they come one by one, the one that I will say, give me water, and the person will give me water, and not just giving me, the person will add, drink, I will also give your camels. Let that person be the one you have chosen. Prayer. We all know what eventually happened. How Rebekah ended up being a wife of Isaac in order to ensure that destiny is preserved. He simply called on God. And the way he called on God was the way God answered him. So help that is amazing does come through prayer. Now, if he has said, let the one that will give me water when I ask, let that one be the one that will be chosen. You know, you can go to a place and they are lovable people. Amen. There are people who are lovable. They love people. So give me water, they will give you water to drink. So it's not a big deal at all. As far as they are concerned, it's not a big deal. But to say you will drink, and then the number of the camels that went with him will also drink until they are satisfied. You know what that means? That is to say, even if somebody at home, if this water I have come to fetch is needed very urgently, I don't give a damn about that. I will give your camels water. I don't know whether there is a camel that has about 20 gallons of bowls that the camel will keep drinking. In other words, I will keep on until they are all satisfied. And precisely when Rebekah came and he said, give me water, she went ahead to give him water. On her own volition, of her own will, she said, I will also draw water for your camels. That is amazing help. Amen. God answered him precisely. So help comes through prayer. And so when you are praying, I want you to believe God. Don't pray casual prayers. When you pray and you are asking God for help, believe him for it. When Eliezer was praying, he said, answer me so that I may know that you have shown kindness to my master. He wanted to prove that God truly loved his master Abraham. And God showed him that of a truth, he loved Abraham. Prayer. We all know also in the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 20, if we read from verses 11 to 26. We will not read that. You know the story very well. How it is that nations bigger, stronger, more in number than Judah came up against them to battle. And there was a cry. There was a prayer. Jehoshaphat prayed. And God heard from heaven. And at the end of the day, because of that prayer, amazing help came. Listen, brothers and sisters, if we want to get help, that is amazing. pray. Amen. I'll tell you a story, true story. There was a woman who had gone to work, and left a baby with a babysitter, a nanny, while she was at work. The woman called to say, "Ma'am, this baby is sick. It's having serious fever." She quickly left her work, entered her car, and began to drive home. Because she had trusted God for a child for a long time. And God answered her by giving her that son. So as she was driving home, she quickly went into a chemist, the pharmacy store, to get some medications, at least the first aid when she gets there. She rushed into the store and then banged the door. Unknown to her, the car was still at the key to the car was still at the ignition. The car was still on. And as soon as she banged the door, it was that type of a car that when you bang the door, you are simply saying, "I'm ready to go." So the car locked automatically. In other words, she is outside to buy medication to go and give the child. By the time she came back, she tried to open the car refused to open. And she was in an environment where you don't see cars easily. So she quickly called the nanny to explain, "How is the baby?" to ask, "How is the baby? This is what has happened to me." And this woman was lamenting. She didn't know what to do. Then the nanny said, "Please look for, because she was an elderly woman, look for a kind of hanger, a coat hanger, this iron type, and look for it around where you are and use it to open the car." She searched around and suddenly she found one. God provided one. She found one somewhere. She picked it up, but she didn't know what to do with it. Meanwhile, the report of the babysitter was that this matter was getting worse. The temperature was getting too bad. She said, "Please do this, be helping the baby." And she was still there fidgeting. She didn't know what to do. Suddenly, she realized, I can call on God for help. She prayed and said, "God, please help me. I don't know what to do. Please preserve my son, my little baby. I don't know what to do out of this situation. God, please help me. Send me help. Send me help." 5 minutes after, a very old car came, and someone who was inside the car, when the woman looked at that person, she felt disappointed because the man looked haggard. The man was wearing a tattered dress. The man was an old man. And so the man stopped his car and came out and said to the woman, "Yeah, may I help you? Any problem?" Then she narrated her story. "I'm rushing home to get my child who is sick to the hospital, and I didn't know how. I banged the door without, I was in a haste, and I banged the door. The car is locked, and I have this thing, this iron rod. Can you help me?" The man said, "Sure, how will you?" So within 1 minute, the man used the rod to open the car. The woman looked at the man and thanked him so much, hugged the man, said, "Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. You are a nice man." The man said, "No, I am not a nice man. I'm just coming out of prison. I went to prison because I stole a car. I'm just coming out from the prison. As you see me, that's why I'm the way I am. So I'm not a nice man. Just coming out from the prison, and so I'm not a nice man. The woman looked at him again, hugged him the second time. And the man said, bye-bye. Then she turned to God and said, oh God, I thank you that you even sent me a professional. Now, how did God answer? It's a true story. How did God answer her? Through sending a professional car thief. Someone who can open a car that the owner has the key somewhere. That was the person that God sent to her. And she got the help that she needed. Again, I said to you, brothers and sisters, prayer produces amazing help. Why is it that it was just at that nick of time? The man was simply driving home, going home, whether he has a family or not. And that was where a professional was needed to open a car. Pray when you need help. Number two, apart from prayer. Number two, tears. Tears. T-E-A-R-S. Grief or weeping are in the same. You get amazing help through tears. You are crying, you are lamenting, you are not praying, but you are crying. You know, but some of you, when you cry and shed tears carelessly. And I want to advise you, if you are the type that cries, be purposeful in your crying. Don't just cry to whip up sentiment or sympathy from people. When you cry or you shed tears, let it be something that you believe God will see and do something, because he knows that you are in that pain, that grief, in that tear because of a wrongdoing, because of something that is beyond you. So don't ever think that tears or grief or sorrow or weeping, whichever way you want to look at it, don't ever think that they don't produce results. They do heavily. I will give you a typical example. You see, when I watch television, and I'm watching television and listening to news, and a case of injustice is brought, even if it's in a drama, they are showing that this movie that is drama, common drama, and I notice someone is being victimized. Usually, tears will come out of my eyes. This is a pastor. They may not be acting real. It may not be a true story. But the fact that I am seeing someone being maltreated, being handled in a way that he or she should not be handled, you just see me. And if it's a true story, afterwards, I am going to call on God concerning that matter. Why? Because I saw someone's tears, agony, pain. That's why some people don't know how help comes. Someone saw their tears and beckoned on God to do something. The person who is crying, shedding tears, the person who is weeping, is not praying. The person is simply crying, weeping, shedding tears. But amazing help sometimes come as a result of that. Look at the book of Genesis chapter 21. Genesis chapter 21. Genesis chapter 21. We read verses 14. 21 verses 14 to 19. Genesis 21, 14 to 19. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them